Hello and welcome to this little guide on how to get other teams' regions for free. And when I say for free, what I mean is you don't have to negotiate with them, you don't have to pay a transfer fee, but you will have to pay like some small compensation to the club, which is a lot less than if you would have bought the player. And yeah, basically that. And if you're like me, one of the things you like most in Football Manager is to find those talented 5-star potential regions, sign them to your club, and tutor them, train them, and develop them to become future world stars. And when it comes to regions, nobody can help you. And what I mean with that is, it isn't a web page you can look up like these are the best players, sign them. You need to find them yourself. And first off, we're going to take a little trick on how to find them. And different countries get regions at different date. And that date changes from year to year. So the year a country gets, or the date a country gets regions this year, then will be another date next year. And below this guide, I will put a link to a web page that will show you all those dates. You can look it up like what nation and what date. And I know right now that this is the date when France get regions. And how do we find them? Yes, there's a little trick to find all the regions in France and other countries, of course. You go to the globe here, you click it, you select nations, and this list will show you the nations that you have loaded in as into your game. And right now I've selected France, so that's one of the nations that show up. And then transfers. And from this list, here's empty, but you change it from transfers down to youth intake. And all of a sudden, every single region that showed up in French today is listed. The next question is obviously, how do we know what youngster we want to sign? And just to show that you can get them all for basically for free, if you just right click them, you can approach to sign all of them. We don't have to make a bid to the club and negotiate with the club, pay them a lot of money. We can sign them. But as you can see, there's a lot of regions, and obviously we can't sign all of them. We just want to sign the best of them. The normal way you could do is scout them. And I scout youngsters all the time. I will scout a lot of youngsters. But if I spend too much time scouting them, first off, as you can see, they are so extremely money. So even if you have a lot of scouts, it's going to take a really long time to scout them all. But also if you do that, some of them will probably, or most of them, will not be interested in joining you. You won't be able to just sign them like you can today if you scout them for like 2 months. So what I do is I select a lot of them. But I don't want to take all of them, because, I mean, even if I should take all of them, I would probably find even more good players. But it would just take too long to scout all of them. So I kind of like focusing on maybe the bigger clubs here, something like that. I'm just going to do it quick right now. Maybe something like this, probably missing out on some good clubs here. But that's okay. So I've selected all of those players. And scouting, as you can see, 304 players. If I would be scouting them for 3-4 games, that would take ages. So instead of scouting them the normal way, I'm just going to get a report card. Because if you won't watch the player, this will be a lot quicker. Obviously, the big disadvantage for this is they won't be very trustworthy. I mean, if you really want to be sure about a player, you should be scouting them for like a month or 2 probably. This will be like a big gamble. But let's do that and then move forward in time so we get those scouting results. And here it is, the scouting reports have started to show up. And some of them won't be interested in joining you. I'm not completely sure why, but probably it's because they belong to a club that's bigger than yours. So maybe like when we come to the PSG players, for example, they probably won't be interested in joining my club. And this is the report you could get. And this is just from a report card. So this is really worth remembering. There's so little we know about the player. It's a 10% knowledge level. So you can't trust this. But also, you have the problem. Like in a day or two, probably I won't be able to approach to sign him. Then I would have to make a transfer offer to the club and things like that. So it's definitely worth scouting them a lot more if you want to take it slow. Because, I mean, this guy, he could be just a 2-star potential. But, as you can see, some of them will be a lot lower, kind of. So, I usually feel like the way I go through with this is whenever the scouting card says 5-star potential, I try to sign them. To me, it's worth the gamble. Most of them, or maybe all of them, won't be 5-star players potential, but even if they just end up becoming 2.5, 3.5 star player, I will be able to sell them on with a huge profit. And then maybe 1 or 2 of them becomes a 4.5 star player, and of course they will become like big stars. So basically, if it says at least 5 stars, I just take the gamble. I can afford it, because as you can see, they get a small fee as a compensation, but it's nothing compared to when you do the real thing, like when you make a transfer offer and you negotiate. I mean, if you're buying young Regens, you usually pay a few million for them after a lot of scouting, of course, so you know you get quality. And now we don't know we get quality. We're taking a gamble, but still we won't make a loss on it. I mean, even if they only become 2 3-star players, we will make a profit. And maybe we can find that 4 or 5-star player for almost free. And I'm a rich club, in a rich club, so I don't even care about those things. I'm just going to suggest the terms here, finalize the deal, and then move on here. Try to find the next guy with 5-star potential. But yeah, as I said, this is from the report card, so you can't really trust them. It's just a small hint on what to expect, but I can afford a gamble, and he was not interested in us, so that can happen. Some of the guys won't be interested in joining us, but and another guy who wasn't interested in joining us. But still, this is a great trick. Even if they only become 2 3-star players, you'll probably make a decent profit from them. And every now and then you get that great 5-star player. And what I don't do right now, but for the guys who wasn't interested in joining me, later on I will start scouting them for real to see if I'm willing to spend some real money on them during the summer transfer window. Because of course, if I scout them and they turn out to actually be 4 or 5-star players, and another guy didn't want to join us, then I might be willing to pay quite some money for them. But basically, this is the trick for getting regens for free or almost free. So make sure you check it out. What you do is you go to a webpage that shows you the regen dates, and you find the link to that webpage below the stream in the information section. You click on the globe here. You go to the nation, you select transfers, you change it to youth intake, and then you just start taking, getting report cards. And of course, if you don't want to do this, you just want to find the regens. I mean, you don't have to go for report cards. You can do a real scouting of them, and then pick the few who looks best and do some like in-depth scouting, find the repros. I mean, this guy, he wasn't interested in joining me, but I will definitely later on start scouting him for real to see if it's actually a 5-star potential. And if he has 5-star potential, I might offer them a few millions, see if they are interested in selling him. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, make sure you press that subscribe button. It definitely helps me out. And if you're into Football Manager, which you should be if you've been watching this guide, make sure to check out my channel. I have a lot of Football Manager guides there, and also some Let's Play Football Manager adventures. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.